Hello, everyone. This is Sweet Lou Jeff Luzatter with our first edition of Southport Cardinal Chalk Talk, and we're with Coach Nathan Fishel, who's the girls cross country coach. We're in his classroom here during prep period. So, Coach, I really appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Let's talk a little bit about the 2017 campaign. I looked at the schedule here and was talking down at the athletic office and found out you had one rained out last week. So your first meet is officially August 20th, which is going to be this Saturday. And talk a little bit about this meet. Have you been there before?
Yep.
What you anticipate, and then we can go on a little bit talk about the squad.
Well, we go to the Richmond Invitational. We are running at IU East. We won that meet last year. We've won it many times over the years. It's a good meet. We anticipate to compete well. We anticipate good competition. I'm excited for that meet and the rest of the season.
Let's talk a little bit about the squad here. I was down in the athletic office earlier, and we talked off camera here. You've got 4 seniors, 2 juniors, 5 sophomores, and 8 freshmen. Ever encountered such a young squad before in your coaching career?
Yeah, we have. It just depends the cycle of graduation or incoming. It varies per year. Sometimes it's quite balanced. Sometimes it's not. You try to adjust for that, and it's a learning experience. We have 13, as you said, freshmen and sophomores, and so every year there's trying to adjust for your people you get to work with, and so it's kind of a constant learning experience so that you as a coach can not only meet the needs of the kids, the needs of the parents, to try to help facilitate the most success for the kids. So it's been a learning experience for that as we've gotten going, but I believe that as the season progresses, we will really achieve highly because of this. So we're going to be good.
Good. I talked to you off camera regarding injuries. In cross country, obviously muscle pulls, stuff like that is. In your coaching experience, has there been anything kind of, you don't have to, I know you're not going to mention any names, but just some usual injuries that happen to cross-country runners?
Soreness, typical soreness, shin splints. I want to try to avoid stress fractures, which are overuse injuries. We've been very, very fortunate over the years to be able to minimize that, although we're dealing with one of those right now. You have kids that get general soreness with knees, ankles, quadriceps. It's just a matter of training through some of those and knowing what level of discomfort to train through and what level of discomfort we need to adjust our training. And so with younger runners, it's a constant getting to know you as far as stressing the system and then recovery as far as how long that takes. We're really trying to be wise in how we train and understand that with such a young squad, and whether they're years young or new to running young, we want to be mindful of how much we're running, what pace we're running, where we're running to facilitate the best results. We don't want to overtrain kids into the ground, but we want to establish good quality workouts to try to develop fitness, try to develop leg turnover, and try to develop the capacity to race and compete at the highest level by October. So with younger kids that you don't know as much, you're constantly trying to learn about them and what their system can tolerate to maximize it. And it's kind of a fine line. You don't want to overstep it because you don't want to get somebody hurt.
I have never talked to you about this before. We've had a couple interviews in the past couple of years regarding your coaching experience, etc. But there's always a lot of publicity regarding wrestlers and the fact that they really have to watch what they eat, because if they eat too much, they're going to be moved up into a higher weight class. As a cross country coach, what do you relate to your cross country runners about eating?
We really try to stress to eat well, particularly proteins, particularly vegetables, particularly fruits. Replenishment of fluids, particularly water or sports drink after workout. Protein shakes are good. In the early months of the season, July, August, where it's warmer, you really need to be replenishing those fluids. And not that you don't at any time of the year, but with the heat, the body really, really sweats it out in August, especially into September, where you're really constantly needing to hydrate, because if you don't, you'll be lethargic, you'll be tired, your body won't be able to perform at its maximum, it'll break down, you get sick, all the things that you don't want to have happen. So, a multivitamin, constant water, fluid, constant eating, 3 meals a day, and we really want to try to emphasize not I say eating fast food, but try to understand that to be the best cross-country runner, most typical teenagers aren't doing that. And so they'll eat whatever and can kind of get away with it because they're not trying to perform really well. When you're trying to perform really well, you must be mindful of what you're putting in. The body's a system. You're trying to fuel the system, so you're trying to put in high-quality fuels. And so we really go over everything, anything, niacin, iron, B12, B6. We try vitamin C. Where do we get that? How do we get that? We try to constantly talk with them and emphasize that. And it's easier said than done because we throw a lot at kids. But in the end, if you're just practicing moderation, we're hydrating well, we're eating smartly, that's probably good enough. Just you try to avoid the bad stuff.
Yeah. Now, you've got one home meet here. Where is your course here at Southport?
We run at Clinton Young Elementary School in Perry Township, and we're going to run Ron Colley there in a week and a half or so. The Perry meet got rained out, so it's been rescheduled for September 13th. So we're going to have 2 dual meets there in the coming weeks into the next month. We train there a bit because it's got an open field and generally good land on the grass, good footing. We make do with what we have.
Now, looking over the schedule here, I was going to ask you during our interview here, and I was preparing you for off camera here with a question, but looking at the schedule here, and I'm sure you've got it memorized. You mentioned about Flat Rock.
Flash Rock Invitational.
Flash Rock, yeah. Excuse me. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit again about why that course is popular?
Flash Rock Invitational is held at the Northview Church. It's the semi-state course. It's the course that you race on to compete to get to the state finals throughout the state, the sectional, regional, and the semi-state meet. There's a state tournament. Well, the Flash Rock meet is held on the semi-state course, and so we definitely go there every year to try to get experience on that course, to race that course. It's a technical course. It's a very good cross-country course. The more you know it, the more you're able to run on it, race on it, the better you'll be on it in October. There's 2 different divisions there where they put teams in, and you try to qualify to get in the championship division each year. And if you're not, then you're in the invitational division. It doesn't necessarily matter per se each year, but what really matters is getting on that course and racing it. We trained on it a couple times this summer. We'll train on it again a couple times this fall. But racing it versus practicing on it with other kids and competitors can be a little bit different. So we want to make sure we race it as well as just practice on it. And it's a good course. It's a good technical, great course.
One last question here, and I was a cross-country runner myself. Wasn't very good at it, more of a sprinter and track, but always wanted to ask a cross-country coach, you guys practice, obviously, and you're putting in miles.
Yeah.
Do you encourage or discourage a runner to put in extra miles besides what you do in practice?
Typically what we try to do is provide the necessary training for kids to be able to compete at the highest level. And, we don't expect runners to then go home and run more. Over the years, we've done 2-a-day runs with kids that are older, kids that have shown a little bit of strength to sustain that. There's lots of different kinds of talents. There's leg turnover, there's cardiovascular, oxygen delivery. Durability is a talent as well. Being able to sustain training, to train through soreness with a young team, don't know if that's the wisest thing to do. So we really, when we write out practice plans and I talk to my coaches, we set out to provide the training necessary for them to be able to compete at the highest level for them at that point. And so a freshman, over the next 2 years as they become a junior, they'll get stronger, hopefully. They'll get more experience. They'll lift. They'll kind of put in more miles in the summertime. So they're maybe better able to handle a wider base of training. And so, but again, we would provide that at school. So we don't expect them to kind of go out and do more. But, you know, training can look like a lot of different things, especially in August, where we utilize the pool with hot days, with days where we don't want to be pounding every single day. So yesterday was weight room and pool, where we did a good pool workout. Today we'll be on the Southport Middle School course doing some speed work. So it just kind of depends, you know, with the kids. So when we talk miles, I mean, for example, they didn't particularly run any miles yesterday, but they worked with our strength and conditioning coordinator, Mr. Frank. We did a great pool workout, cardio pool workout, cross-training workout, because on Tuesday we did speed work as well out over there at the practice field of Southport, and we run on the grass. So it's not a day off, it's just a day to change the use of the muscles to continue to allow additional betterment, but also recovery, because we don't want to keep pounding kids, especially young kids, into the ground, especially in August. So we really try to look at the total kind of program of how can we develop athletes and develop capacity to race. And you don't develop capacity to race when you're getting kids hurt. And so there are so many different kind of ways to train distance runners, I think, with kids that are 14 to 18 years of age, that they're younger either by age or younger either by like level of experience. We don't want to beat them down. We want to continue to, I like to say, keep the body guessing as far as it's able to respond to whatever you're telling it to. And so yesterday, pool, a lot of cardio, a lot of just muscle training, swimming. It's good, but there was no miles per se like you would get like what we ran the day before or what we'll do today. So it's not necessarily just run all the time. It's trying to be smart but developmental and kind of creative, I guess, in trying to best tailor a program to the needs of the kids and knowing your kids at that moment. And so, you know, in 2, 3, 4 years, they might look a little bit different. We've had it look a little bit different with older kids. We have a runner who's Erin Sullivan, who she's doing dual sports this year. She was a state runner-up last year in the 800. And so she'll come to some practices here, or she'll come to some practices in the morning because she has unassigned study hall, or she'll go to soccer practice. And so I'm always communicating daily with her about what's she doing, how can we help support her, how can we be mindful to keep her healthy and develop her capacity to race in cross country when it's cross country day. And so I would argue there is not a one size fits all. I mean, there's 2 or 3 that can fit here or there, but you really just got to know your kids. And when they get older, you know them a lot better. When they're newer, it's a daily process of getting to know you, because you only get them for that window of practice, either in the summertime in the summer running or at practice time. So it's just and it's a constant teaching too, where you're teaching kids language, what you want, what to expect, how they should feel, what their times are. We encourage them to wear a wristwatch, timing watch. It's constantly trying to look out for kids and help them race and compete to their highest potential.
Boy, how times have changed, because back in 40 years ago when I ran, it was just getting your miles in. You know, there wasn't swimming pool and all that stuff. So it sounds like you got things down to a science. Appreciate your time,
Sure,
Coach.
no problem, anytime.
We're visiting with Nathan Fishel, the girls cross country coach here at Southport High School. Good luck on the meet on Saturday, Coach,
Thanks.
at Richmond. This is Sweet Lou Jeff Luzatter and another edition of Chalk Talk. So long, everyone.